Hello. Alright, so today we're going to learn how to use a spreadsheet, and our activity is on page 272 of ISOM Maths Book 1, Year 8. Sports percentages is the topic, and the activity involves looking at how a premiership table would be constructed. If you look at the bottom of page 272, you'll see the table for 8 teams. All of the teams are named after Australian native birds. I'm assuming that you've read the information. Perhaps the most important part is to understand how the percentage is calculated, which simply represents the goals for as a fraction of goals against, or points for of points against as a percentage. So you multiply that by 100. And what we need to learn how to do is get the spreadsheet to calculate this percentage column for us. And also we're going to calculate the premiership points and make sure that is automatically adjusted. So first of all, I'm using Microsoft Excel. And as you can see, I've already typed in the information. It's not formatted yet. And as a rule of thumb, I always type all the information, all the text, before I worry about formatting. And if you're not familiar with Excel, just follow me as I show you how to format this. So I'm going to click on this little triangle next to the A and the 1. By the way, in a spreadsheet, the columns are designated with a capital letter and the rows are designated with a number. So team is in the cell A1. Each individual square is called a cell, which can contain text or a mathematical formula. So I've clicked on that button and that's selected the whole sheet. What I'm going to do now is go over to Format, and I'm going to select the column width, and by default it's 8.11. I'm going to change that to 10, which will allow all the text to fit pretty much. And I don't like the first row. What I'm going to do is change that, increase the row height to about 20, and I'm also going to get this to wrap. So I'm going to choose Format Cells, and the text alignment is general for the horizontal alignment, but you can see here it's bottom for vertical. So I'm going to change that to center, and I'm also going to wrap the text. So if it's too wide for the column, it will go on to the next line. Looks like 20 isn't quite big enough, so I'm going to increase the row height a little bit more there. Let's say 25. It's probably too big now. No, a little bit further. Let's make it 30. Alright, also I'm going to once again select the whole sheet, and I'm going to align all of my information in the center of the columns. I've also decided that I'm going to insert another column before the teams to indicate the rank. So I'm going to click on the insert button, which will automatically insert the column, and then just call it rank and type 1 to 8. So with the teams, I want to make them align to the right. It's just a nicer way of showing that information. Alright, so that's pretty well set up. I can read that easily. I'll make the team column just a little bit wider by dragging it, and I'll make the rank column a little bit narrower. It's not really necessary for it to be quite so wide. So now we turn to the percentage column, and if you look back on the information, it's already calculated a couple of percentages for you. The first one is 143.8. So what we need to do now is enter the formula percentage equals points for over points against times 100. In fact, on the spreadsheet we don't need to multiply by 100. We can simply tell the spreadsheet to format it as a percentage. So let's do that first. So I'm going to click on the H, and up here there's a little control group, and I'm going to select percentage. And now when I enter a number, it will automatically calculate it and show it as a percentage. And in any spreadsheet program, if you're going to enter a formula, you start by pressing the equals key. I'm not going to type the numbers. What you do in a spreadsheet is you click on the cell that contains the number that you need. So again, let's remind ourselves what the formula is. It's points or goals for divided by goals against. So I'm going to click on F2 and it automatically enters F2 into the cell's formula. To indicate divide, you use the /. And now I'm going to click on G2, which contains the number of goals against for the Pelicans. Enter or return. And there you go. So if I click back on H2, you can see on this formula bar here, the formula is expressed as equals F2 divided by G2. If I change a number in either of those cells, then the formula will automatically reflect the change. Now here's another fancy trick for spreadsheets. All of these cells underneath need to have the same formula. So in Excel, in Microsoft Excel, you just find a little square at the bottom right hand corner of the cell once you've selected it. And when your cursor changes to a plus sign, you can drag that down and the formula automatically copies itself to the other cells. So let's have a look at H7. You can see here that the formula is F8 divided by G8. So now we have this cell divided by that cell equals this cell. I'm going to make one more change by selecting the whole column. You'll notice here that percentages are given to 2 decimal places, but in our original data it was only 1. So I'm going to decrease the number of decimal places by pressing on this little button here, and now it will only show 1 decimal place. Similarly, we need to enter a formula for the premium or the premiership points. So I'm going to click on I2, and the rule is that each win is worth 4 points. Okay, so we start by entering equals, and then we're going to click on the 5, which is in cell C2, and that amount has to be multiplied by 4. To enter a multiplied by sign, you actually use the asterisk, which is something you may not have known, and we're going to multiply by 4 to get the number of premiership points. Once again, click on that cell, drag the little square in the bottom right hand corner of the cell down, and it will automatically copy all the premiership points down. And finally, I haven't saved my document, so I really should save that before I do anything else. In the other videos, I will show you how to enter formulas using different software.